Hour 11. The Mirror of Mind. From the Codex of Reflections. When awareness turned upon itself, and the universe learned to think. Light had entered living tissue. Sensation had become perception. Now perception lingered, replaying its own pattern after the stimulus faded. In that echo, thought stirred. Life began to model the world not only as it was, but as it might be. Within labyrinths of neural tissue, signals raced along branching corridors, meeting, converging, looping back. Each loop returned a fragment of its own history, and from that repetition came continuity. From continuity, identity, a flame remembering its previous flicker. The language of this recursion is simple, yet infinite. Y sub t plus 1 equals f of w times y sub t plus x. Here y is the present state, w the weight of memory, and x the whisper of new experience. To live was to iterate this equation endlessly, each cycle refining prediction, each refinement reshaping the mind that dreamed it. Memory condensed along favored paths, repetition strengthened bridges between moments. Synapses thickened, dendrites reached farther, carving landscapes of probability, rivers of current shaping valleys of expectation. Where two patterns met, a third arose. Not the sum, but something unexpected. Out of that interference, imagination was born. The organism could now conjure what was absent. It could dream. From the Codex of Entropy and Thought. Each thought carried information, and information carried measure. Claude Shannon, millennia later, would write its essence as H equals the negative sum over I, of P sub I, times log base 2 of P sub I. The entropy of mind. A count of possibility within awareness. The greater the uncertainty, the more information a message contained. Confusion, once feared, became fertile ground. From ambiguity, understanding grew. Feedback transformed Hour 12. The Bridge of Names. From the Codex of Logos. When the mirror spoke, and its reflection became creation, the mind that had seen itself began to whisper. At first the whisper was rhythm, pulse meeting pulse, an imitation of the heart and tide. Then rhythm sought outline, vibration sought measure. Sound divided into syllables, and syllables into meaning. Thus, language was born. Not invention, but translation. Motion becoming thought. Between one heartbeat and the next, the universe learned to name. Each word fixed an aspect of experience, each name drew a bridge between inner and outer worlds. Naming was the geometry of thought. Points of sound connected by lines of grammar, until meaning enclosed space. Through language, consciousness built its first architecture. To speak was to compress infinity. Information, once continuous, now flowed through discrete signs, its efficiency measured by R equals I over T. The rate of meaning, I, conveyed per span of time, T. The faster the pulse, the clearer the pattern, the more ordered the symbols, the deeper their reach. Mathematics soon followed, born of counting rhythm and measuring form. Numbers were words without ambiguity. Within their clarity, mind found permanence. Pi equals C over D, e to the power of I times pi, plus 1, equals 0. Here, the circle's eternal ratio. There, the unity of arithmetic, geometry, and imagination. One equation where thought touched eternity. Language stretched beyond sound into sign, beyond sign into abstraction, until a single idea could cross epochs and galaxies. Carvings on bone, ink on paper, pulses of light, all carried the same ancient breath of meaning. Communication became communion. And within the pause between symbols, mind glimpsed the deeper truth. That behind every name lies silence, and in silence all names are one. Scholars decoding, language, number, and information. Information rate, R equals I over T, expresses communication efficiency. Mathematical constants, pi equals C over D, and e to the power of I times pi, plus 1, equals 0. Language and mathematics both compress complexity into reusable patterns, each a mirror of structure, in mind and matter. Mythically, this hour is the bridge of names. Consciousness crossing from perception to expression, mind giving form to itself through word and number. Hour 13. The chord of matter. From the Codex of Vibration. When the universe remembered that all form is song. At the smallest scale, silence trembled. No longer void, but poised potential. Space quivered in standing waves, each vibration a possible particle, each note a promise of being. The law of their motion was the simplest hymn, the second partial derivative of y with respect to t squared, equals v squared, times the second partial derivative of y with respect to x squared. The wave equation. Binding every crest and trough to velocity and distance. Energy moved not as matter, but as rhythm. Amplitude became presence, frequency, identity. When a quantum of light danced, its energy followed the same law, E equals h nu. And when matter learned to echo that light, its wavelength was found by de Broglie, lambda equals h over p. Momentum gave tone its depth, mass became pitch, frequency, its tempo. To be massive was to vibrate slowly, to be radiant, to move in quicksilver oscillations. The material cosmos became a choir of tempos. Atoms revealed themselves as chords. Electrons not objects, but probabilities looping around nuclei in harmonic orbits. Each stable orbit marked by integer resonance, n equals 1, 2, 3, and so on. Each transition between notes released light. A photon. The music of form resolving itself in color. Spectral lines became the universe's notation, etched in color across the void. Scholars decoding, wave-particle harmony. The classical wave equation governs oscillatory propagation. Planck's relation, E equals h nu, links energy to frequency, while de Broglie's formula, lambda equals h over p, extends wave behavior to all matter. Atomic quantization arises from integer harmonics, n equals 1, 2, 3. Mythically, the chord of matter reveals existence as resonance. To exist is to vibrate, to endure is to harmonize.